Hi everybody, I'm Tim from Trout and Feather, and as you can see, we have one of my favorite guest tiers with us today, my great uncle John. He's going to be tying a really great fly for you. What fly are you going to be tying today?
I hope the fly that I tie comes out great, and it's a great fly that I think it's one of the Catskills. It's a Hendrickson, and I think you'll enjoy this fly because I think it's a killer, okay?
All right, trust his words and stay tuned. All right, we have the vise set up, and it's time to see your Hendrickson. Let's start us off.
Okay, friendly tiers. I am going to tie the Hendrickson for you. And it's just, well, to me it's very simple. But you guys do what you want to do, okay? And you know, you could tie a fly in different directions, what pleases you. But I usually tie my wings on first, okay? Which is natural for me, okay? And then I come from this eye, probably about that far, maybe an eighth of an inch back, okay? And I start my wrap to lock it in, okay? 3 wraps or 4 wraps in the front, back, and up, okay? And then I have a little excess. Maybe a lot of you have more excess than this, but I'm a little Scottish when I'm tying flies. I don't like to waste nothing. In my tying room, I have a lot of junk on the table.
I bet a lot of people who are watching would like to go through that junk.
Okay.
And by the way, can I mention we have, let's see, you're using a hook from Allen Fly Fishing. It's there.
Right, Allen. It looks a wonderful hook.
Yeah, it's a D103
looks strong.
BL. Yeah, it's a barbless hook. So that's a good thing. We don't have to worry about pinching on the barb. And you have, what color thread is that?
It's a gray thread, okay?
Is that 8/0 uni thread?
Yes, it's 8/0. And right. I generally use 8/0 a lot.
For dry flies,
on dry flies. Even on my nymphs, I don't like to change when I'm doing it. Okay, right, what I'm going to do, okay, did you notice that I separated this, okay? Right here. That part of the wing, I generally snip it right off. And don't try to do this without guiding it on there, okay? Because it won't work, okay? Okay, I've done that.
And what type of a feather is this for everybody?
This is a wood duck feather. Okay, you hunters out there, if you have any excess wood duck feathers, send them to Timmy. He can use them.
I'm sure we'll take them.
Okay, now, you see how that is? It's separated like 2 wings. Mm-hmm. What I do is I fold it on like this, okay? And I got my wings right there, okay? What I do is measure it, okay? You can make it shorter or longer. Wings are probably a little bit longer than your hackle, okay? So this is about what I have right here, okay? I have it right there, and then I place it right over where my wrap ended. I come up, pinch it off, come down back of it, okay? Pinch it off, come back. Make sure it's behind it, okay? And then you go right around, okay?
Yeah.
And then I sort of bring it up, okay? Okay. I put a little wedge behind it, okay? Then I have to separate the wings, okay? We want to make them look like they're wings, okay? I don't know if it makes much difference, but it helps in appearance, makes you feel better, okay?
Yep.
I got one. I feel I got, as soon as I get that, it keeps slipping back. Okay, I got it. And I wrap it 2 times, okay?
Looking good.
And then I come over here and wrap it 2 times again. Then I come up and I give it a little V, okay? 8, a little 8, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And forward, okay? You have to work with your wings, okay? And I come up again, and I go around again. You can see it's starting to materialize, okay? Okay. Then I press it back, okay? Okay, it's probably there right now. You could see that. I can turn this for you to show you how it's coming, okay?
Okay, nice V separation.
Okay, you see how it's separated?
Yep.
Which will mean a lot. Okay, and we're going to clip that off right back here on a wedge like, okay? Okay, here. I put that aside. I don't throw any wood duck feathers away at all, okay?
Okay.
I might spend a little more time than you think on these wings, because they have to look right for me, okay? If they aren't right, then I take them off and do it again, okay? And it's starting to come up, okay? It is right there, what I want, okay? Then I come back to the tailing position, okay?
Okay.
I wrap it clean back real nice, okay? You see how your thread, if you wind in the front and pull back, it's going to be tight, okay? I'm right at the point where I want to be right now. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, now I'm going to pick one out. I think I got one right here, okay? Well, I'll measure it anyhow when I'm over here. And Tim has a measure here, okay, which makes it pretty good. This is just about a 14. Okay, right there, see it? Okay, now, I'm going to set that aside right over here. Now I want the tailing. Where I get the tailing, way back here. I try to get, there's one right there. I rip it off. Okay, that's a very good one here, okay.
So now you're looking for basically longer fibers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, some stiff fibers. Okay, I have your tail right there, okay? The tail is basically the length of the hook from the eye to the bend, okay? Then I put it right on here on an angle, on a degree of maybe 60 degrees or 30 degrees. Then I come up, down, and I have my tailing in. Okay, some of it's up and it doesn't make much difference anyhow. You're going to get some that's not going to be what it's supposed to be. And I make another wrap the whole way up, and I go back again, okay? I make sure that this is all nice, okay? There, see how it's starting to chip out now?
Yeah, now it's really starting to take on that nice look.
There's a lot of these barbs up here that I will take off after. They're pesky barbs that don't want to come to where I want them. Now, I have my dubbing material, okay, that I blended. I told Tim earlier that I blend this out of rabbit. Now, this is supposed to be fox fur, okay, or the urine from the fox, the red fox, okay.
Is it like the urine stain?
The urine stain pellet, okay. This is just about it, okay. Now, where I get that from, when you get a full rabbit skin, if you look right behind the neck, there's a little brown section back there. Probably that big, not too much, okay? But it's there. Use that.
Okay.
And you'll find out. Okay, I am going to get this, if I can get this open. Okay, it doesn't take much, okay? You got to remember that your flies, the bodies aren't supposed to be that big. Okay, now, when you're dubbing, what I do, and probably what you should do, is just give it a little slack in your dubbing material. Okay, what I'm doing, I'm actually locking that in. Okay, I'm locking it in. I'm letting it twist itself into the thread. Okay, probably that's enough. Now look what I used. I used nothing. Okay, very little. Okay, now let's see if I got enough off. Okay, I'll start back here. And I'll come forward, okay? I'm coming forward. Okay, I need a little bit more, okay? It's pretty hard to tell what you need until you get there. Okay, let's get a little more on here. That's too much right there. Take that off a little bit. Okay, we're just about there. Okay. What we're going to do is finish this off. Okay, that's fine. Okay, what I'm going to do now is, there's a little pesky fur that's hanging out that didn't want to go where I told it to go. Don't listen to you all the time. And I'm cutting, making a nice tapered body. Watch when you cut, you don't cut the tail off.
Or the thread.
Oh, the thread.
Not that
I've done that.
No.
What I do is I usually hold it apart. Okay. Now, I told you these pesky little... let's cut them off. Okay. We don't want these to hang out. Okay. See how it looks a lot better now?
Oh, absolutely.
There's one over here. There. Okay, now, where did I put that?
Hackle softener.
Yeah, here. Okay. Here's your hackle. Okay. Looks like a nice hackle. Now your hackle, if you know hackle are nice, is when you preen them back a little bit, they're shiny. If you could see the shine on them, can you see the shine? Okay.
Just a little, yeah.
What I want to do is, see, there's some hackle in there that has webbing on, and you don't want that webbing in there. Okay. You can see it right back to the bottom of this hackle. I cut this off thusly, okay?
Yep.
And then, I don't know if Tim does this. I cut these up like this, okay? What I'm cutting now is like little anchors, okay? To make sure that your fly doesn't, your hackle doesn't slip.
So you're cutting close to, I think we've seen this before on another video which
Yeah.
we featured you.
I do this all the time. Pardon me a minute.
Oh, the scissors went flying there.
I ain't at my age, anything flies.
So he was just trimming along the edges of the stem. So he's leaving some of the hackle barbels in place, but they're really, really short. So he's going to use those kind of as an anchor point when he launches the hackle.
Right, Tim. And they won't go anywhere, okay? Okay. And I will cut this little stem off if I can get it. Okay. Now, I have enough room. I don't need hackle pliers for this size because I got a big, nice hackle, okay? I just get enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now, I go on the front. 1, 2, 3. I don't want to lose this. 4. Okay, I didn't lose it. A lot of times I will lose that, okay? Then I tie it off, okay? I will get another wrap on that so it won't come loose. Now, that is probably really a nice fly right now, okay? You could see that, okay? And what we do here is clip this off on the top. Try to get everything off on the top because your fish doesn't see this. There we are. Okay.
Perfect.
Now, for you gentlemen out there that like to make other things with a little piece of hackle, like wings or anything like that, don't throw it away. Put it aside, and you can use it. Okay?
Good advice.
Okay, now, I am going to make a half hitch to make it secure. Okay. I don't want this to slip on me. There, okay.
Okay, we've zoomed back in. Why don't we finish this fly?
Okay, what I'm going to do is get this Mattarelli whip finish, and it's very easy to put it on, okay. Now, I'm going to get this down to where I am not going to get no hackles in there. I may get 1 or 2. I'm building 1, 2, 3, 4, okay. That's about it. Then I whip it off, come up, and thus, okay. What I do, I don't cut that with a scissor. When I put my scissor up there, okay, and I go like that, just knock it right off. And what I did was, there's no butt left. It's under the whip finish, okay?
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
I hope you like that fly. I got to get some of these pesky little critters that I said I wouldn't tie in, okay?
Well, you get those pesky critters. I'll stop this video, and then we'll have a little discussion about this pattern.
Okay, there. How does that look, Tim?
Yeah, it looks great. Let me zoom in one more time on this fly for everybody.
Do you want me to turn it around a little bit, or is that fine like that?
That looks great. No, it's a beautiful looking fly. You know what? Can you do it so it's facing us, and they can see that split wing? Oh, that's gorgeous. That's gorgeous. All right, let me get this stopped, and we'll have a little discussion about this Hendrickson.
Okay.
All right, now that you've just seen my uncle tie his Hendrickson Catskill-style, let's talk a little bit more about the pattern. Uncle John, for starters, what size do you like to tie this in?
Well, generally, Hendrickson is tied on a larger size hook. Probably a 14 is my favorite. But you can also tie it on a 12.
Okay.
You know, because it's a larger fly. Okay.
Okay. I know when guys are buying materials for the Hendrickson, especially Hackle, it sometimes can be really confusing. It can be overwhelming. Are there any tips that you have for these guys whenever they're selecting Hackle, colors, etc. for this fly?
You know, they always tell you that you have to tie a certain fly with a certain hackle. I don't confirm with this because of the fact that hackle is hackle, and they represent one thing, the legs of a fly. And if you get the closest to a leg of a fly, probably the best hackle is a grizzly hackle because it's variegated, okay? Other than that, I generally, this fly I tie with a dark dun.
Okay. Okay. You think the fish can see that dark a little bit better at times?
Yes, yes. I think you know, on a given bad day when it's overcast or something like that, this fly will stick out. On a good day, it also acts that good too, okay? It's a good hackle.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree. And I love the grizzly hackle. I think you can put that on 99% of dry flies and still have success with it. Yeah, that variegation's wonderful. Let's talk a little bit about fishing this fly. Is there any type of a cast or a drift that you prefer with this style?
I would cast, if you're fishing in quiet water, would probably cast up and let it float. And let it sit there and let it come down. Don't be excited about ripping it out.
Yeah.
As I always says, there's no such thing as a bad cast. Don't think, well, that was a bad cast. Well, you might be fooled.
There have been a lot of nice fish caught on some really bad casts.
Yeah. You know that.
We both do, yeah. What about after the drift? Is this one that you pick up immediately, or do you let this one hang a bit?
I think I let it hang a bit, okay, and sort of bring it towards shore a little bit, and then rip it up, okay. Don't rip it out in your favorite waters, okay, because it's going to be a mess for them fish to say, hey, this thing's moving up and out. What am I going to do?
Yeah. So what he's trying to say, for those of you newer to fly fishing, if you're fishing and that fly is floated down, it started to complete its turn, and there's more fish rising downstream, you want to get that fly out of there really quiet. And in most cases, we really prefer to fish from the lower fish, those fish further down in the drift, and then work our way back up so you don't distract those fish that are higher up. But if you happen to catch one at the top of a run, you've pretty much messed up that entire run.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me think. With the Hendrickson, this is just a really great fly, great hatch regarding it. Typically earlier season on most streams and rivers.
Yes, right. It's a dark fly, and it's early fly. Whereas, you know, maybe some day or some month or some year I might tie, you know, a pale morning dun, you know, which is an ideal one for right about now, okay. But, but you know, Tim, the darker, lighter, and then your ants and that, you know.
Later in the summer.
Yes.
You got it. Well, to wrap up everything with the Hendrickson, the one thing that I would like to also stress, or at least ask you, whenever you're fishing over a fly that's rising, how many drifts do you fish over that with this Hendrickson before you either say change flies, move on? I mean, do you have a number, or is it just kind of on a case by case?
I generally fish over that fish until I figure he doesn't care for this fish because he's not even rising. Now, if it's different if he rises once in a while, then it's different. I would cast maybe 10, 20 times.
Okay.
You know, other than that, I don't know about changing flies. I would probably change fly size, okay? I would go to a different size, maybe lower or upper, you know, till I exhaust my energy on it.
You got it. That's perfect. Well, that's going to wrap up everything regarding the Hendrickson, but I know many of you would be disappointed out there if I didn't take advantage of asking my uncle some interview questions. So let's kind of reset things, and then I'm going to start kind of asking a little bit more about some other fly tying and fly fishing stories that he has. Now we'll move into the interview portion of this video. Uncle John, you ready?
Yes, I think so.
All right, good. Let's start off with one component of fly tying that really can be confusing for a lot of beginners, and that's vises. If I had to say to you, is there a vise that you prefer? Are there a few brands? Do you like rotary style? Do you prefer spring style? What tips can you give to guys out there, and what do you use?
I use a variation of all of them, sort of. I like my Regal vise at certain times, and I have a Renzetti that I use occasionally, a lot more now that my nephew here, Tim, showed me what a Renzetti can do. You know, Renzetti is a rotary vise, and it's important that you have to see the bottom of your fly, because this is a part of the fly the fish sees. So I would say that the Renzetti is probably one of the better vises. Okay, I would have to go with that. And I also use Thompson's vise. That was my beginning tying.
Really?
Way back when there was no other. Okay, but now there's so many vises that it's staggering. But what I would suggest that you get a vise that you could depend on holding your hook and holding it good.
Is there a vise you've used that it's just had great hook holding power?
Yes, I would say Dynaking.
Okay.
Dynaking, really, when you put the clamper to it, it's going to stay.
Yeah.
But they all do. But that one I pick, okay.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely named some great ones there. And if any of you are looking for a vise right now, if you have any questions about vises, please reach out to me, and I'd be happy to kind of help you along that process, because there are so many options out there, and it's tough for anyone to basically stay up to date with all of those different choices. And I love to say, if you ask 20 guys what vise they prefer, you could get 20 different answers, because there's really that many choices.
Tim, I think cost comes into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because cost, you know, some of them are staggering. I mean, if you want to pay $500 or $1,000 for a vise, I think there's one out there that you can buy for that. I'm sure you.
Yeah, and I think what's tough is that a lot of guys are just getting into this, and they don't want to commit to a couple $100 or $300 for one of those really quality vises. And if they're trying to stay around the $50 to $100 range, it's narrowed down there, and it's a little bit more difficult. That's why it's easy for you and me to say, hey, the vises we're using are the Renzettis, the Regals, the Dynakings, the Stonfos, because we know we're committed to this. And we're into fly tying. But for those of you out there that aren't sure if you're ready for that commitment, it's tough for us to recommend, hey, go out and buy a $300 vise because you're going to love it. The reality is you may only start to get into fly tying and then back away, and then you're stuck with that vise.
Yeah. Don't forget you won't be able to sell it for what you bought it for.
Like a used car.
Yeah.
Yeah, that vise, apparently, the moment you leave the fly shop, it's just decreased in value.
Right.
But I'll tell you this, people can always sell those used vises. I see them all the time selling, and they do command money for the higher quality ones.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then let's shift. Let's stay with fly tying. The one thing that I've noticed it's different about a lot of tires, if we go through some of the materials that are there, must-have materials just sitting out right now, there can be some differences and some discrepancies. So let's go through. Do you mind answering about, I'll just ask different materials, and if you could just say, this is what you recommend. Is there a dubbing or a couple dubbings out there that you just can't tie without? You got to be using this type of dubbing.
We get into a lot of things. Cost goes into you want better. But hey, let's face it, the simplest thing is rabbit. You say, oh, rabbit? I'm going to use rabbit. Rabbit is used a lot, and muskrat. And I would say if you can get fox fur, if you can get it.
Okay.
But there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah, those are great.
And synthetics, of course, like you said.
There's many synthetics, yeah.
Yeah. Tim could verify how much I got of synthetics. I got them all over the place. I spend my time in Joann Fabric shop.
Absolutely. But you tend not to use those synthetics as much as the natural dubbings. Yeah. And be careful with that rabbit. A lot of rabbit has guard hairs in it. If you have guard hairs, that's great for nymphs. For dry flies, you don't want those guard hairs. So kind of think about that whenever you're selecting.
You can pull them out,
You got it. How about, you kind of alluded to Hackle earlier during the earlier in this section. Is there a Hackle color that you really, this is the one, if you're going to recommend somebody investing money in one color, what would it be?
I could see that if you're going to invest money, invest it in good Hackle. And good Hackle is grizzly. Now, if you have a lot of money, Creed is the top of the line.
The Creed, yeah.
Yeah, it's basically two colors in one. Okay, it's a dark and a brown. And if you're tying certain flies, you only need one Hackle instead of two. Okay.
You got it. So it's kind of a brown grizzly mix, that Creed.
Yeah.
Okay. How about thread? Is there a color that you have typically in your bobbins that you're going to turn to?
I have black in all my bobbins because I like black because, I have all colors. Believe me, I have every color that you can think of. But black's just my favorite color because it shines.
Okay. Okay. Especially on nymphs and streamers.
Yes.
Okay. How about if we talk a little bit about, let's say maybe techniques or tools, something along those lines. For some beginners, it's tough to just get the thread wrapped on the hook originally with a little bit of tension. But is there a step of that process that you think beginners should really concentrate on? Is there a tool people should really invest in?
When you got your thread in your vise, on your hook, and you're going to put your dubbing on, now you have to dub in a direction where it's going to be into your thread. You want to work it in a thread. Thread is not one strand, it's multiple strands, okay? And you want to back them threads back and have it a little bit loose, so when you're putting your dubbing on, don't keep it tight, a little bit loose, and let it wrap in, and after you got it wrapped in, pull it tight. You'll see the Hackle goes, all that dubbing goes stiff right now, baby.
Okay, so you're saying some of it will get trapped in your thread.
Yeah, it'll get trapped.
Okay. What about one of the toughest parts of the fly for a lot of beginner and even intermediate tyers is finishing off the fly? Any suggestions you have?
When you start your fly, this is the most important. Don't start it too close to the eye. Go back maybe 2, 3, 4 eye lengths back and start your fly there, okay? Whereas when you come up, your tail goes back. You go back and get your tail after you have your wings on a dry fly, because it's a multiple ways of tying, but this is my method anyhow. I go back and put my tail in. Now, how am I going to tie this tail in? Am I going to hold it? Am I going to do what? My basic idea is put it on the top of the hook, hold it tight on the top, and up between your fingers and down again, pinch it and down tight. And don't let go. Up again, one more time, up again, right, tight, and you'll see that tail stick straight out.
Okay. And as you come to the front of the fly, whenever you whip finish, do you prefer tool, hand whip finish?
Tool right now, but I used to do hand finish. Hand finish is, I know you do it, and it does an excellent job. Real speedy. If you know what you're doing, it's speed. You can do it and have it right, okay? But the tool, you bring it down to the narrowest point and wrap it on, and you don't rack any barbels in, okay? Just wrap a nice head. After you get a nice head, you got your whip finished on. Bring it down. I know guys very well how they cut it off. Now this might not seem like an important thing.
This is the thread after you have it locked in place.
Place. You can use your scissors, which I don't recommend. I recommend getting a good sharp utility knife and go in there and cut it hold it real taut, and cut it. If you know anything about wrapping rods or anything like that, when you hold it tight and you cut, that thing's going to go up and lock in.
Okay. Okay, that's a great suggestion. For those of you newer to fly tying, I do have a video out there called Finishing Techniques for Fly Tying, and I talk about the different ways that you can finish, including the hand whip finish or using a tool. So that's a good one to suggest. All right, well, let's move away from fly tying with the fly fishing. Do you have any good stories you'd like to share today?
This goes a long way back, and Tim can verify this place here. Up at Oil Creek in Venango County, there's a place there that they call the Cammisa hole. I don't think the tree's there anymore, but there used to be a big tree there. I was fishing on the bank, and these two guys, friends of mine, were fishing in the stream, and they weren't getting very few fish. And I was on that bank, and I'm telling you, I couldn't count the fish I was catching. And the one guy hollered up to me, "What are you using?" Like any good fly fisherman, you'd have to say, "A fly."
So you kept them in the dark. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. That's a good tip for all of you out there. Well, before I finish this video and before I wrap up, I do want to wish my Uncle John a belated birthday. He just turned 84 years old just a couple days prior to the recording of this. So happy belated. You're welcome.
Okay.
And thanks for being on the show today.
Okay, I'm glad to be here.
You got it. Well, for all of you watching out there, we really appreciate you taking the time to view this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below, or you can email me at tcammisa@gmail.com. More specifically, if you'd like to reach out to my Uncle John at all, ask him any questions, maybe probe his mind for fly tying, fly fishing questions, feel free to reach out to me and I can direct all those questions to him. He really loves tying this Hendrickson fly, as you could probably tell earlier. If you have a favorite fly you'd like to share, please leave that in the comments section below. If you'd like to watch more of these fly tying and fly fishing tutorials, you can view them on my website, which is troutandfeather.com. I also have a Facebook page and I post some regular updates there, so if you like that, you'll see those. Well, once again, thank you everyone for viewing this fly tying tutorial with my great Uncle John.
Okay, Tim, thanks a lot.
All right, you got it. I'll see you.
Okay.
All right.
On
Thanks,
the stream.
everybody. We'll definitely be on the
Of
stream.
course, we keep a tight line.
Oh, always. All right. Thanks, guys.